I have missed you so much, my friend. It's been, we've known each other now for almost 20 years. Thanks for joining me today.
It's great to be here.
I haven't seen you for a while. Obviously I've been seeing what you're up to on Instagram and on Facebook. You have, when I saw the company name Spread Love, the clothing company, about 3 years ago, I can't tell you how proud I was, how excited I was for you, and a little jealous, and because I didn't come up with the name. So I want to get into how and what Spread Love is all about.
Right.
But before we do that, I thought it'd be kind of neat if we talked a little bit about like how we kind of know each other, and so we've known each other for almost 20 years, going back to our high school days, and then working together at Sporting Life. And you've been through so many ups and downs in that whole time, buddy. So I want to talk a little bit about that. So after high school, we left high school. Why don't you remind me a little bit about high school? What was your grades and stuff like? Like I kind of punted high school. I wasn't. That's not who I was. I couldn't sit in class. I was the kid that, Miss, can I go to the washroom? And I
wouldn't come back. You'd be gone for like the afternoon and then come back right before school is done, and it's it's time to go home.
You can remind me about yourself though. Like tell me, so what was high school all about for you? Like in terms of grades and stuff.
Well, school for me was a priority because I had goals of wanting to play basketball and play collegiate basketball and go Division I, and I had goals of playing in the NBA and stuff, so I knew that I had to go to school. I wasn't necessarily like a straight A student, but I tried my best, and my grades could have been better, but I did well enough where I was able to get an athletic scholarship. So,
and that took you to where?
I went to Bradley.
Yes, Chicago.
Just outside of Chicago.
Okay.
Peoria, Illinois.
Yep.
Got a Division I scholarship, so I played basketball there for 4 years.
How was that? Tell me about that experience. So, I never got to live it, so I want to live it through
obviously,
you now.
But like when I was in school, scholarships wasn't as common as it is today. And for me, I found myself going on AAU trips, like with my team to the States, like almost every weekend, and it'd be like 8 or 10 of us packed up in like a Chrysler minivan, driving to like New Jersey or Philadelphia, New York, just to get some exposure, because coaches weren't coming up to Toronto to watch us play, so it was a bit of a grind.
What year are we talking now? Kind of take us back.
I say like mid to late 90s.
So this is pre-Raptors still? Yeah, like Raptors are probably in 95,
95, yeah, so like late 90s.
Toronto wasn't even on the scene from a basketball perspective.
No. It was more hockey and baseball,
obviously,
which I grew up playing.
Right.
And, but once the Raptors came, everyone's kind of vibe changed towards sports, and I was one of those guys, and I'm like, I got to play NCAA, I got to go to the NBA. So, I took my schoolwork seriously.
Jay, hang on.
Yeah.
When did that dream come about the NBA? Like I always known that about you. I've seen you play 100 times. Was this growing up?
Well, obviously being from Toronto, hockey is the #1 sport. So I grew up playing hockey. I thought I was gonna be like the next Black Wayne Gretzky, but
how did you do that?
That didn't happen. Well, I started growing. I couldn't find skates my size, so I had to change sports, played baseball. And
for our friends on the podcast, you guys can't see this, but Jay's, how tall are you, buddy?
I'm 6'6".
6'6". Jay's a big boy, and so you can understand why you couldn't find skates. Continue.
So, played baseball. I enjoyed it. I was really good at baseball, but like grade 6, grade 7, I kind of got introduced to basketball. So I found that to be a lot more exciting. It was fun, up and down, excitement. So I kind of changed sports, and also I got involved with football. So I was a pretty good football player. I got recruited as well.
You were tight end at Martin.
Yeah, tight end and wide receiver and outside linebacker. So
I got a quick question. I'm going to interject here for a second.
Yeah.
Jazz brags a lot about his athletic ability from high school.
Well,
I
wasn't probably as athletic as our boy Jay here. I was on the junior team.
Yes, he was on the junior team. He was. So
but Jay was the star.
The junior team.
I was on the junior team.
What? We were in grade 9, 10?
Yeah.
You weren't able to jump up from midget to senior to junior. You have to go through the process. It doesn't matter how good you were. You have to go through that process. He's on the junior basketball team. Yeah, he can play.
The one sport Jay never did play was soccer.
Yes, and I actually played soccer in middle school. I was quite good, but I was just focused on football and basketball. I did some volleyball and I did some baseball.
Right.
So I didn't have time for soccer. My hands were tied up, you know? So I just had to focus on those.
Well, that was my sport anyways. To Laura's point, that was my sport.
But he's a decent athlete. I'm surprised he wasn't on. Were you on cricket?
No. Oh, okay. I guess I know why you're saying I should be on cricket. I like it. But I never was.
Okay,
I never was.
All right.
Talk to me about that dream now. So basketball is, I want to be in the NBA. That's a big dream.
Yeah, because there wasn't a lot of guys from Canada that were actually in the NBA. I think Nash was the only one. Rick Fox. I don't know if he claims Canada, but he was Canadian.
Yes.
And
that's it. Really?
Jamal McGlure.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's from Toronto. Played for Eastern Commerce.
Yep.
So
Yes.
I think those were like the only 3 Canadians. So like it wasn't common, but it was a goal that I wanted. But you know, I wasn't able to accomplish that. But at the same time, I knew that I wanted to take basketball as serious and go to the highest level I could possibly go. So.
Now, why do you think there's been such a huge surgence of Canadian, specifically Greater Toronto basketball players? Corey Joseph, Tristan Thompson, the list goes on, right? The list goes on. Why? Like, what's been happening? You've been in this basketball world for a very long time.
Well, obviously the Raptors, number one.
Okay.
And after I've graduated and went on to college, a lot more, like, there's been a lot of talent coming out of Toronto, and a lot of these guys have been going to school, like high school or prep school in the States. And, you know, growing up, the States is where you want to test your basketball skills. You're gonna see the top athletes, the top players, and that's where everyone wanted to go. And that's what was happening. And because of that, these guys are leaving, going to the States for prep school, giving them more opportunity, more time, more opportunity for them to be seen by college coaches and NBA scouts and stuff like that.
Do you think? Do you think the Canadian Basketball Association is doing? Because I know you're involved, and you have been in the past, right? Like, Are they doing a better job at this now? Are they getting more funding?
I'm not too sure about the whole funding thing, but Canada basketball has grown a lot, and now with more players now in the NBA, they're coming back now and they're playing for Team Canada, which has been awesome because for a long time our men's program has struggled a little bit. You know, I think the last time we went to the Olympics was when Nash was playing. I think in '96 in Sydney.
Yeah.
So. Our involvement now, it's good. It's good to see a lot of the familiar faces in the NBA coming back and representing Canada. So,
VC was always my player.
Yeah.
Like, so have you seen The Carter Effect on Netflix yet?
Have not seen it. I actually missed it when they had the screening.
Okay.
I missed it. But that's actually something I actually want to see. I heard a lot of positive.
Oh man, I loved it. It took me back to '96 and '97. Yeah. Well, you know, obviously a little later when Carter became a Raptor. Yeah. And the reason I brought him up, obviously he's one of my favorite players. I actually think he had a lot to do with
the growth.
The growth, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I think he put Canada, not only Toronto, but Canada on the map as far as when it came to basketball. You don't understand when we actually drafted Antoine Jameson, I was a little upset.
Oh my God!
But then when they said they're trading Antoine Jameson for Vince Carter, I think I did a backflip because I knew what we were getting. Like if you see the highlights of Vince when he was in college, in high school, I was like, we're getting a superstar.
A superstar. And then what he did in that slam dunk competition.
Yeah.
Like I almost felt like I was going to break my TV. I couldn't hold myself.
It was amazing. It was
probably still the best kind of dunk off that we've ever seen.
It was amazing.
So now you're at Bradley. You're there for a bit.
4 years. Yeah.
4 years. Everything finishes up. You come back.
I came back to Toronto after graduating for about 3 weeks.
Okay.
I felt like I wasn't done with basketball.
Okay.
My career at Bradley wasn't as planned.
Okay.
I went through a lot of injuries. So that's one thing with sports, injuries, that's something that happens.
What was the main injury again?
I had a broken ankle. So I broke my left foot and my right foot. I also had I had an irregular heartbeat, so they told me I'd never play again. But I overcame that, and then I had a dislocated shoulder. And yeah, man, it was just one injury after the other every year. So
I don't want to bring you back to a negative time in your life, but I think it's really good for the listeners to hear.
Yeah.
Your mindset when you're going through injuries like that, to get up and still keep the dream going, working out with whatever you can, eating properly. Can you kind of take us through that a little bit?
Well, I'd be lying if I said I wasn't affected by it, because, like I said, injuries is something that's a part of sports. But through those obstacles, I had to grow mentally as a person, as an athlete, as a man. I know in order to get to the next level, you're gonna have to go through certain things. I knew that, and that was pushing me. That kept me going.
Was that a lot of stuff between the ears? Like, was it self-talk?
It's a lot of it's mental. A lot of it's mental. I knew for myself, I had to make it. For me, like that was a goal that I set for myself.
A burning desire.
Yeah, like I didn't want to let myself down. You know, I put pressure on myself, but this was something I knew I had to get over, and I knew that I had to go through some hard times. And college was one of those. Was a time where I went through a lot of issues, like physically, and I could have easily given up, but you know, there's something about being persistent, persevering, overcoming obstacles that, I guess, growing up in my era, you got to be tough. You got to be tough mentally.
Well, we're Rexdale boys, right?
And you're in another country, no family. Like you have to be tough mentally, and that period, I grew individually as a person, man, and I feel like there's nothing I can't do because of that those moments that I've gone through. Right?
It's giving me goosebumps just hearing it, man. It really is.
I got a lot of support, obviously, from family and friends, but I was on my own. So you have to get through it, you know. So life isn't easy. You know, everyone's gonna have to go through their thing, whatever that may be. But I think the biggest thing is up here.
Yeah.
And thinking positive, knowing that, yes, I'm going through my stuff, but I can get through that. You have to believe that, or you won't make it.
So now you're back in Toronto.
Yep.
Is China next?
No, I came back to Toronto, went back to my school to train, ended up getting my first professional gig in Portugal.
Okay.
And
so back out on your own again.
Back out on my own, in a different country. I don't speak Portuguese. I didn't even get to go back home before I left for Europe, because my agent was like, "Hey, I got you a gig in Portugal. You ready? We fly out tomorrow." I'm like, "Tomorrow?" So he's like, "Yeah, you can't go home." So I just called my dad. I'm like, "Listen, I'm on the next flight tomorrow. I'm going to Portugal." He's like, "What?" So hopped on a plane. I'm not lying. I was in the airplane and I was just like, "What is going on? Where am I going?" Not only was I a bit nervous, but I was excited for this next chapter, because it was something that I wanted, and a team was taking a chance on me because I didn't have that good of a career. I had injuries every year, so I didn't actually average a lot of points. So they took a chance, and I was determined to, you know, make them know that they made a good choice. So went to Portugal, played. My first contract was 800 euros a month.
800 euros a month.
800.
Where do you stay?
So they took care of us.
Okay.
They gave
food, everything.
Food.
Okay.
I had a place.
Okay.
They gave us a car.
Okay.
Got free meals, free dinner.
Okay.
So,
as much as $800 a month doesn't sound good.
Yeah.
But was it still kind of like a relief that, hey, somebody's paying you to play basketball?
That had to sink in for a little bit.
Okay.
Someone's paying me to make a layup or a basket or a dunk. I'm like, yo, I have the best job in the world. Like,
I'll do it for free.
Yeah, like, well, basically 800 is basically like, you know, it's pretty much free. You can't really live off of that, but I needed the experience, right? So I was willing to take whatever.
Okay.
So I went there with an open mind, with a good attitude, and just to compete and play hard. And my goal was to average a double-double, and that's what I did. So
nice.
You know, just
for our listeners that don't know what a double-double is,
which is
it's not a coffee from Timmy's.
No, it's not. Okay. Guys, it's not a coffee from Timmy's. A double-double
in basketball
is either it's 10 10 or more points, and 10 or more rebounds, or 10 or more assists.
And our boy Jonas does that now.
Yes, no comment. No.
Okay, I'm just saying that he does do it at least, right? Let's talk really quickly. I just want to get your thoughts on.
No.
Please.
No.
Just.
Yeah, we got. Okay, Kawhi.
Yes. Can you just talk to me about the Kawhi?
Great pickup. Great pickup.
We lost someone huge from a cultural perspective in DeMar DeRozan.
Yeah, absolutely. But we just picked up one of the top players in the league. I think I'm not sure if people realize this guy is a former Finals MVP, right? This guy, come on, he's a game changer. He plays on both sides of the ball. Great defender. Not only we got Danny Green, great defender. So we just got better on defense.
Can shoot the three too.
We got better offensively, scoring, shooting. Like we have another franchise player. Like we have one of the top players in the league. So I think it was a good pickup, man. Great pickup.
You think we have a good shot at the East this year with LeBron out of here?
Well, yeah, we have a great chance of winning the East. I'm just hoping the guys will buy into, what the new coach is doing, and
yeah, that's going to be interesting.
And obviously the defense is going to have to pick up, scoring's going to have to, pick up. So I'm looking forward to this year.
Now we're in Portugal.
Yep.
So what's happening there? You're playing. You're averaging a double-double.
Yep. I had
injuries are they behind us yet?
I had a couple, ankle sprains, whatever. But I think the best thing about that experience was one of my teammates was from Vancouver, Canada.
Okay.
So right there, that connection, being Canadian, like we hit it off right away. So we spent a lot of time together, traveling the country, visiting, different landmarks in the country. It was great.
Okay, so where are we off to next now?
Came back home, played for the Canadian national team.
How was that experience?
Amazing. That whole process was, again, determination, because I wasn't even invited to the tryout, and because I was at school doing basketball camp for Bradley, and I'd messaged the coach. I'm like, listen, I'm in the States, I'm doing camp, I'm not able to come to the open tryouts. And I came back to Toronto, and we were supposed to have like this individual workout, and he never called me. So I was disappointed about that. So I just showed up at the gym. I showed up at the tryout, and I was like the familiar face he didn't know, but I knew everyone else because I grew up playing with them. So
like, from the same area.
Yeah. So they're like, Jay, what's up? What are you doing here? I mean, what do you mean, what am I doing? I'm here for the tryout.
Yeah.
So long story short, I basically kind of bullied my way into the tryout.
I love it.
And I made the team.
Okay.
So I had to rush order and get a passport because we went to Brazil for 10 days.
Right.
So we went to Brazil, played in the national team, Brazilian national team. We actually went to Montreal first and played the Angolan national team. And then, we traveled to Brazil, and that was an amazing experience. Played against Team Argentina, Team USA, obviously Team Brazil, played against some NBA talent. That was the first time on the court with awesome. Leandro Barbosa. I was like,
he's an NBA player.
Right, yeah, exactly. And
so now it starts to really hit home, right?
It's sinking in, like, you're a professional basketball player. And being able to represent your country was one of the goals that I wrote down in my grade 12 class.
I need you to repeat this, man.
I wrote that down. I remember writing that down in Miss Lackey's class. You remember Miss Lackey?
I remember Miss Lackey, yeah.
Instead of like paying attention to kinesiology, I'm writing down my goals. Yeah. And I'm like,
what were your goals in that class?
It was just a pass.
His goal was to make it through class without sleeping, or
I did tend to go towards my female friends, and I like to speak with them and spend a lot of time with them. But go on. Okay.
Yeah.
So you wrote this.
I wrote this down, man. That was something that I wrote. I still have that binder to today. I have it. And representing Canada was one of those goals that I had. So.
So now you did it. You're on, on the court with another NBA player. You know that you're on the same court as the guy. I mean, that in itself is such an awesome
cool. Yeah, it's an accomplishment,
cool.
But it's more making the Canadian team and then playing with guys that I actually know and grew up playing against was probably the biggest goal for me. And it was exciting. So now
Canadian national team. Where does China come in? Because I know you were in China for a bit.
So, well, not play. I went there for a few basketball tournaments.
Okay.
Yeah, so I spent some time in China. I actually went to China 3 times and spent like about a month each of the times. And yeah, I was with a traveling team.
Culture shock a little there?
A little bit.
Okay.
A little bit. I knew what to expect because I know obviously China's huge. It's a big country, very overpopulated, but it was a good experience.
And now because you've done this a few times, you've been on your own.
Yeah.
You know, through Portugal, through Bradley. Has the confidence now built up internally?
Absolutely.
Okay. And the reason I mention that is because there's a lot of people who are like, I can't do something. It's almost like just take that first step.
And that's with a lot of things. And I tell people today, like, they were talking, oh, I want to start a business or I want to do something. I'm like, then do it. Do it. That's the first step, right? Like, you got to step out at some point. And I'd rather start something and then not work out and then being like, well, at least I tried. That's being like, man, I wonder if I could do this. Like, just do it. Man. Do it.
You know, I'm glad I did it rather than I wish I had. Is kind of right.
Because a lot of people regret not doing stuff when they had the opportunity. So, at this point in my life, like if I have an idea or I think about doing something, I'm gonna do it. Like I want to write a book. I already started. I started the process. Like I want to do a documentary. I'm already writing down ideas about how am I gonna do it? Where am I gonna shoot it? I started reaching out to people that are in that industry. Like, what's my first step? What do I need to do? Like, you know,
just asking, just getting out there.
Right. And what's the worst someone's gonna say is no. All right. Well, you know what? No for me means new opportunity. So I'm gonna go to somebody else.
I love it.
So
it's golden, Jay. That's golden. I've always known you to be able to pick up like odd jobs here and there and just keep on going. Like you have, you went through teachers college and you teach now as well.
Yeah.
Where did the work ethic come from?
I'd say my parents.
Dad and mom?
Yeah.
And
they just workhorse. Like if you want anything in life, you got to work for it, right? Nothing will be handed, and that's kind of like I guess old school mentality, right? Like our parents, migrated from, their
India
country
for me.
Jamaica for me,
yeah.
That's. You have to work for it. That's what they say. That's the, they do tell you. Yeah. So you gotta put in the work, man. So for me, I'm like, hey, if you want anything in life, it's not gonna be handed over to you. So you have to work.
So 3 years ago, I see Spread Love.
Yeah.
Where did this concept come from?
Well, believe it or not, the idea came from I used to work at Lululemon, and I had goals.
And Banana Republic. This is part of all the odd jobs. You were just able to always
odd jobs. Yeah. And the thing about that company, which is I think is very special.
Are you talking about Lululemon?
Yes.
Okay, go on.
Compared to all other companies that I've worked for that are out there, they're very goal oriented, and they're about the community. So when I say goal oriented, they want to know your goals. You're not just gonna come to work and just work and go home. They want to know what your goals are in a year, in 5 years, in 10 years. So if you're an employee, you need to write your goals down and give it to them, and then they post it on the wall so everybody can see what your goals are. And I just remember one day on my lunch break just reading everyone's goals, and I was like, man, this guy wants to do that? Oh my God. Like in 5 years, this guy wants to do that. In 10 years, a year from now. So I'm like, I started examining myself. What were some goals that I wanted to do that I was too scared to do? And starting a clothing brand was one of them. So I was just like, I'm just gonna go for it. And for about a week, I was just thinking of ideas and names, because I'm like, I want a brand that has a message that's meaningful, not just like some name.
Jason Faulknor's clothing apparel.
Yeah, that's silly. I didn't want that. So for about a week, I was sketching out designs, and I sketched out this, and I'm like, Spread Love. I was like, that's it. And then I brought it to a friend that was a graphic designer, and he was working at Apple, and he put it together for me, and I was like, yeah, this is it. So I started that, printed about 17 shirts. I was handing them out to friends. I was wearing them. People were stopping me and like, yo, this is dope. Like, where can I get one? I'm like, good question, because I don't know. So I gotta figure it out, because people are stopping me. Yo, this is dope. I like this. So I'm like, all right, I got to figure something out. And yeah, I kind of put it on the back burner because that's when I just started teachers college.
Okay.
So transitioning from sporting life to teachers college, I ended up leaving the company to pursue education because I just wanted to give back to the community. And this is quite actually pretty cool because I wore my shirt the first day of school and one of the professors stopped me and was like, I love your shirt. And I told him it was mine. And he's like, we got to support you, man. This is amazing what you're doing. I'm like, absolutely. So I had printed 40 shirts before school started. I actually finished teachers college a bit early to go teach in Australia for a month. And I brought them to school and I sold like 35 shirts. And then everybody was like, yo, I love your brand. That's when they were like, do you have a website? I'm like, no. It's like, you're gonna need a website. I had no clue. I'm not an IT or guy or whatever.
Just like myself.
Yeah, and I'm like, I gotta figure this website thing out now. But the feedback was positive, man. And I was like, this was just an idea that I had and already people were supporting me. So I'm like, I'm not sure where this is gonna go, but I'm gonna continue to push the message, obviously. So
I just love didn't know how to even, like, you know, somebody sees you with a shirt,
Yeah.
nah, I don't even have any, I gotta go print them. You
Yeah.
figured that out. I don't have a website, I gotta figure that out. And then I'm sure like POS in terms of point of sales and how to figure out how to collect money, you probably didn't have an idea how to do all that.
well, I can collect money.
Well,
but
if it's cash, that's one thing.
Right,
but if we
right.
were gonna do credit card and
Yeah.
internet and all
Yeah.
that, right? We can all collect some money. That's
yeah,
easy to
right,
do.
come on, bro.
Obviously. But the fact that you just never let that stop you.
I just figured I'd learn on the way. Like, I always hear stories about guys that have started stuff and they had no clue. I'm like, okay, well, I'm not any different. I can figure it out as I go along. Obviously, you know, I've made some bad decisions money-wise, but I've learned, right? So now you know for next time, all right, I ain't gonna do that. I can probably save a couple bucks here, or I could ask someone to do that or get some help. That's another thing that I'm learning. I can't do everything by myself. So, yeah, it's trial and error.
So what's the 1 year goal from now? So, and I also want to know what's kind of the vision for Spread Love.
So currently, right now, I've been able to kind of push this message in a couple of schools that I've taught at, and it wasn't really my agenda, but obviously. Now that I'm a teacher, I've kind of used this message as a way of bringing more awareness for bullying in schools and just getting kids to be aware and to be nice to each other. The first school that I taught at, the VP bought a shirt and her and I were rocking it. And next thing you know, teachers are like, hey, where are you getting these shirts from? Like, I saw another teacher with it. They're like, ask Mr. Faulknor. So next thing you know, teachers are asking, and next thing you know, all the teachers in the school are wearing Spread Love shirts. So then we started Spread Love Fridays. So every teacher wears their shirts every Friday to promote kindness in school and to get kids to recognize, hey, you know what? How can I be nice to you today? What are some ways? So we're building community in the classroom and in the school, just trying to get kids to be more aware. Like, our words and our actions are powerful. So why not be positive in your actions and your words to make your classmate or make your teacher feel good. So it's been good, you know. So that's been like the early foundation of what I'm trying to do. But really, the message is for everybody, not just for kids. It's for, you know, this lady right here with her kids, or that man right there getting into the truck. Like, it's for everybody. How can we impact each other by what we say and our words? Like,
That's why I said I was, you know, somewhat. And I say it loosely, I was somewhat jealous that I didn't come up with it, but I was so happy that my boy did. Mm-hmm. You know, because it's going to spread, no pun intended. This is going to happen. I just know, because I know your determination.
that's the goal.
A lot of our listeners are either entrepreneurs or wannabe-preneurs, right?
Right.
What would be a message you can give them? There's somebody listening right now. I think of my sister-in-law, my wife's sister,
Yeah.
Rippy, who always wanted to start a clothing line, for example. It's one of the reasons why I had this idea of starting a podcast, because I wanted to meet people like
Yeah.
yourself and get this message to them. What would be something that you would tell them, like if they're just on the fence, if they're scared?
In the words of Gary Vee,
Yes. Gary Vee, Gary Vaynerchuk.
you are going to die, right?
Elaborate this.
Like, you're gonna die, but you don't want to have any regrets, right? Just do it. just do it. If it fails, it fails. But all right, on to the next, right? But I remember hearing that. I was like, wow, that you're going to die. So why have regrets? Go for it. Go for it. Why not? If you fail, you fail. Get up and do it again. So when it comes to taking risks, you have to.
Okay.
It's a risk, right?
I love it.
So
I know you figured out the website stuff by now and your social medias and stuff. So
that's getting better.
How does one get Spread Love stuff? We're going to, from an REC perspective.
Appreciate it.
Obviously, by the time while they're listening to this, there will be a promo that we can get out to our listeners and everyone. So make sure that you see that on our social medias. But if someone wants to get to you, my boy, directly and they want, the band that I'm wearing, they want the hoodies and they want the leggings. I know we do, and it's kind of neat because we just had women do yoga behind us. How do they get to you, man?
Well, you can go on to the website, spreadlove.ca. My Instagram is also Spreadlove Clothing, and my personal is jfaulk, so JFAULK 25. That's my personal IG. But you can also drop me a line, jason@spreadlove.ca.
Guys, we're going to make sure that all the contact info is given.
Yeah, for sure.
I am so excited to get this promo out and get this out to my friends and family. Not only because you're my friend, Jay, I actually just really love the message, man.
Yeah.
I really, really love the message.
It's simple, but it's powerful, right? So if everyone can just kind of like embrace what that's about and how they can actually spread love and affect their community, affect their family, random strangers. I'm all for doing random acts, and so far it's been pretty cool to see the response.
I love you
as it rains.
I love you as it's going to start to rain a little bit right now as we're outside.
That's God smiling.
That's God smiling, I know. Buddy, God bless you. And thank you so much for doing this with me, man.
Yeah, no problem, man. Appreciate it.
Thanks, homie. So Jamil, how you doing, man? Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you so much for having me.
From R3, we have Laura Stewart with us. How you doing, Laura?
I'm doing well. I'm excited today.
And why is that?
Because I've known this guy here for 5, 6 years.
Almost 6 years, yeah.
6 years now. So this one's a little close to heart.
Yeah.
I spent a lot of time with this guy.
Well, I was going to say, I think we need to elaborate on how and why you know him for 6 years.
So Jamil is my trainer, my therapist, my friend, my motivator. But yeah, he's my personal trainer, me and my husband. So we've been working out at different gyms with you for some time now. So.
Yeah.
And you guys have been with him, like you mentioned, for 6 years. Jamil, I want you to take us back a little bit, man. Take us back to what got you into the fitness industry first. We're going to talk about R3, and I want everyone to hear about, what you guys are up to here and how to get a hold of you and see all the videos. Like, you got some cool stuff going on social. But I really, because I haven't had the opportunity to meet you myself, and I want the listeners to hear, what got you into this industry?
My family, man. Just from day one, it was my dad. My dad was into bodybuilding. My mom grew up a figure skater, so we were always athletic. Never put me in any sports, but as I got a little older, I got into Taekwondo, got my black belt in that.
And that's all here, by the way, like in Toronto? And
everything
so you're born and raised here in Toronto?
Born and raised in Toronto.
Okay. Yeah. So go on. So it never really got you into sports? And
Yeah. We kind of. They never really got me into sports from a young age. I was active, always doing things on the street, just like every not many kids actually I see do it today as much as I did, but just being as active as I can, you know, like skateboarding, snowboarding, basketball, baseball, whatever I could play with any of my friends that I grew up in my neighborhood or whatever. We were always just moving, you know, bike riding. Active, yeah, and felt the love of it at a young age. Always a big guy, so I never really could
Be big, like taller?
No, okay. So when I was in, let's say, when I was seven years old, I was already about 5'4".
At 7 years old,
Yeah.
you were almost 5'4".
Yeah, I would say it was about 5'3", 5'4".
So your height now, Laura,
Taller than me now.
and almost as tall as me. Okay, cool.
I was
Go
about
on.
140 pounds already too.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
It was. I was always a big kid.
Yeah.
Always learned to, found a way to use my strength and whatever I could to just work my benefit, right?
Right.
And obviously became in love with the love of fitness through my father, through the bodybuilding. Grew up watching my father, my uncle, me and my cousin also got into it roughly at the same time.
And what age is this around now?
We started getting, bodybuilding's been in my life since day one, man. I grew up.
And then when did you decide, and your cousin, for example, kind of get in? Because I want to paint that picture, right?
Oh yeah, for sure. Me and him, we grew up the same thing. Him like me, we were playing the same kind of things. We're on the street doing the same stuff. From then, just after high school was done, he was already out of high school. He's a few years older than me.
Okay.
So between him and me, he did his thing, I did my thing, and we just started growing, you know, and
Into bodybuilding. It seems and sounds like a very young age, though. No,
very, very young age.
Normally, you wouldn't get into it at that age.
No,
right?
usually I'd say the prime years for most bodybuilders are mid-late 20s to mid-30s. You know what I mean? So just from a muscle maturity standpoint, you already gotta be a certain age. You know what I mean? From a 16, 17, 18-year-old kid, I had a lot of work to do, and Laura being with me through a lot of that journey. She's seen the ups and downs, the come in the morning, like, yeah, let's do it, come in the morning, I'm not even there.
Well, yeah, let me explain to Jazz, like, when we first started working out with you, you weren't a bodybuilder at the time.
No.
And just over the years, you said, this is what I'm gonna get into. I started with him when he was a teenager still, right? He started working me out for my wedding. That was essentially why we started. I wanted to look a little.
So you only started working out. You want to get
for the wedding
dress? Okay, that makes sense. I see that all the time.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
He was with my husband already.
Okay.
I was kind of working out on my own and doing my own thing, but I thought I need to step it up a notch. So yeah, we've been with this guy since he was a teenager. Saw the process of him working out to be in a bodybuilding competition. We actually went to that competition.
Yeah.
So I saw all the trials and tribulations of you coming in the morning with no energy, eating nothing. Like, talk a little bit about that. Like how.
Yeah. So in terms of bodybuilding, the bodybuilding lifestyle, the bodybuilding mentality. I don't know if you're familiar with Arnold Schwarzenegger.
I mean, I've seen, what is it? What's the Netflix movie?
But Pumping Iron.
Pumping Iron. I love that movie. Yeah, I loved it. Yeah.
Basically, a bodybuilder's mentality. It's no different from anyone else. It's just the desire to prove your point, to yourself. I guess you can say. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
To look at a picture, to have an image in your head, you undeniably want to create that body that you're trying to get.
I picture you at that age. Like you have some pictures of Arnold and Lou Ferrigno maybe. I'm a huge Hulk fan.
I like Lou. I got a picture with Lou when I was.
Yeah, right.
He's holding me. I was a little baby, man.
Yeah, right. That's really cool. So where was this? Like in maybe New York or something? Like a bodybuilding?
I think it was in my dad's. My dad had a gym called Pitbull Gym years ago, like almost 20 years ago.
Yeah.
I was a little baby. I was just born. Lou Ferrigno was in there. He was carrying me.
So were you more of a Lou guy or an Arnold guy?
Me? I'm a Ronnie Coleman guy.
Ronnie Coleman. Yes, yeah, okay.
Those guys. Why them? Because when I think of bodybuilder, I think big. How big can you get? The most veins you can get? Just everything. I want to be the freak. Right. Arnold and Lou is a freak. Arnold's a freak of genetics.
Sure.
But just the timing of who they were and what society is and how they're doing it today, it's just a little different, you know?
Right.
So I wasn't trying to obtain that Arnold look. I was trying to obtain that Ronnie look.
Got it.
And Laura being on my journey through that look, saw the, yeah, one day I'm like this, one day I'm like that, and up and down we go.
Weight drop, got really cut.
Yeah.
And then really, like, it's amazing. I'm gonna brag for you. At the competition, he's in this competition in the heavyweight class.
Super
so his
heavyweight,
first
super
competition
heavyweight.
ever.
Second. So this you came to the second, yeah.
Are we in our early 20s now? Just kind of.
I'm 20. This is 3 years ago. 3 years ago.
Super heavyweight. Go on, Laura.
Right, so you're in that. So your second competition, you're in the heavyweight category. So he's at the very end with these guys who are like 35.
Yeah, I think I was the youngest in my division by at least 10 years. I was a baby standing amongst big men.
Right.
And yeah, man, I had all my friends, my family. Laura and John came out too. It was just like a movie. It was surreal for me.
Right.
Standing up there on. This is my dog.
Hey, what's his name?
Yeah, this is Jerry.
Hey, Jerry.
He likes to be in the middle.
He's a big boy
Jerry
too.
looks scary, but he's very.
He's a big boy too.
This is a Great Dane for our listeners that have not here. He's wagging his tail against the wall.
And how old is he?
He's 3 as well.
Wow.
He just turned 3.
Awesome.
Okay,
so
buddy.
you
Go,
have
go.
you have
Go.
you know, all these pictures. I take it that you're using that as inspiration, right?
Everything.
Because I do like to kind of take listeners through, because we have a lot of entrepreneurs.
Yes.
We have a lot of real estate investors. We have business people, leaders, and I always like to ask that question: what and who maybe did they use as inspiration? So you mentioned Ronnie Coleman, for example.
I'm going to mention Ronnie Coleman, but I'll mention the person.
Yeah.
It has to be my father, man.
Okay.
Just plain and simple. You know, everyone, today's society, not everyone's parents can stay together. I'm not putting anyone down. My family, my mother and my father, both did an amazing job with me. I couldn't have what I have or do anything without what they did for me. That being said, they were both my parents, I should say, were my inspiration, because everything that was ever shown for me through them, I took it in, I listened.
Yeah.
I did whatever I could to just learn who they were.
That's awesome.
You always talk about your mom being such a hard worker.
My mom is my world. I will. Lord knows what I'll do.
What's up,
anything.
Jamil's mom? Jamil's dad. Hi.
So yeah, like I love my mother. Without her, without my dad, there would be no Jamil. There would be no R3. There would be no nothing. There would be no story. So
you mentioned R3. Tell me the concept, man. When did it start in your head? And then how did that kind of how did you go about executing it?
So basically, I'll tell. We'll kind of go back, continue the story.
Yeah, for sure.
Go back to when you were a trainer at a gym. Really.
Yeah. So for the love of fitness, I came through all these knowledge. I did a lot of crash courses just to get certified, just to get my certification to actually be a trainer. So I did all the things.
And where does one get certification?
I got mine at CamFit Pro. There's other what do you call it? Different online courses and other things that you can do. Otherwise, yeah, you can go to school for it as well, obviously.
Yep.
So I got certified. From then, I started working at LA Fitness. I was 18. Actually, her husband John was not my first client. He was one of my first 3 clients. Got him the first day. I'll tell you a quick funny story.
Yeah.
We were there. Basically, he told me who he was. I told him who I was. I told him, hey man, I'm a kid. I'm gonna do what I know how to do, and just bear with me. And he said, okay. We ended up, by the end of the session, his nose ended up bleeding, and mine, ironically, ended up.
Working out together.
Well, hang on. Why did the nose started bleeding?
No idea. His nose started bleeding.
Worked him out too hard.
My nose started bleeding too all of a sudden. So we just became friends from
Both
that.
of your noses are bleeding. That's crazy. You're blood brothers. Okay, God.
Yeah, John comes home that day. He's like passes out on the floor. And like, I don't know if you should see this guy.
Yeah.
I think it was really dry in the gym.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But that still takes a lot from you to do that. You know, just to go up as an 18-year-old kid and go up to somebody and say, hey, give me a shot. Right?
Hey, man, I like, and again, Laura will, I'm sure she'll vouch for me in this. I preach honesty.
Okay.
And trust. I'm very, like, I am who I am. I don't hide anything. If I'm on the camera right now, I'm not going to talk a certain way. But point being said is, I don't hide who I am.
Okay.
And I've realized that I've met clients who are worth millions of dollars. I have clients who don't have too much. And to be able to relate to both right? People, successful CEOs, business owners. I train the VP of AMD. I think it's a computer chip company. To relate to him, to relate to a buddy of mine who's just trying to get through school. You know what I mean? So I have a wide range of so many people. I'm just learning from a young age that if you're just honest with people, you guys just saw the kids who are here, even talking to them on a serious level, you just be yourself and just be honest with people. People
actually relate to a wider range of people.
A much wider range of people, and people will stick with you and appreciate you for who you are, for you just being honest.
Sure.
We all have our bad days. We all have our good days.
Yeah.
I've had many with Laura along the way, and
Bad days are scary.
We're gonna get into all that. Our listeners want to know how, because she talks a lot about you, but we're gonna hear a little bit later about her as your actual client as well. So now you're at LA Fitness.
So
training some of their training people there.
Yeah. So I'm just a basic trainer at LA Fitness. My father's also a trainer as well, so he never competed in bodybuilding. He was a trainer. He's owned gyms throughout the years. That's how I basically picked up this knowledge without even knowing it. Just being around it, watching it, because I'm a very observant person. When I sit around something, I'm always trying to analyze, take in whatever I can. So I learned, and from then I guess you could say I got good at my job. I guess.
Confident.
Yeah. I was able to get a very solid clientele base for a few years at LA Fitness. From then, I decided to, obviously, being a trainer, working for the big man, you don't get paid like the big man. So I decided to take a risk between having the support of my dad and people like John and Lauren, and a lot of other clients who are still with me from LA Fitness.
Right.
I wouldn't be here without these guys. They went. I think we went from there. We went to a condo gym for a while. It's a little ghetto. We were doing that.
I remember running up and down the stairs.
Yeah, like what I mean. I've used, and this is why I think they've come to appreciate me as well. Wherever we go, I've been able to manipulate whatever we have.
Manipulate the space that you have.
Be creative
Yes.
with it, really.
So we had a condo. The cardio machines were filled up. It's not a big gym.
Right.
Okay, guys, out the door, run laps around the building. Or hey guys, let's hop in the elevator, go to the second floor. Okay, run up the penthouse, back down. Oh, okay, damn, that was hard, Jamil. Okay, good, do it again.
That's awesome.
So whatever I can, whatever I can use, I've just been able to manipulate, and even learning that at a young skill has allowed me to do what I've been able to do so far.
Where's the name come from, R3, man?
Okay, so R3. From there, the condo gym, we ended up running into some problems just because people want their space.
Sure.
So me and my father took it upon ourselves to start looking for our own. And again, without the help of him and again these guys, because John and Laura, again, big time over the years have helped me.
Loyal clients, right?
Yeah, whether they know they're helping me or not, they've really helped me. And again, when I told them, hey, I'm trying to do this, are you interested? Just them driving the extra 5-10 minutes over to where I am. This is like, you guys have no idea. Just because without that, I can't have this place.
Well, you obviously treated them right.
This location, there was another location that was theirs.
I don't know. This location's, I think, 6,500 or 5,500 square feet. Mm-hmm. The last one was 2,500.
Before that, you started with a little condo.
Yeah. For a bit.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So we had, believe it or not, a lot of these machines and a lot of this equipment in that little space, and we were manipulating it. Trainers like my other partner Vic or Sean or Nicole or my dad, everyone in there, we're all in there at the same time, rotating people, and we just managed to be so efficient at that to the point where we are where we are today. Where R3 comes from, all the good gym names were taken.
That's pretty easy. I like that.
Yeah,
don't overthink stuff. Right?
All the good gym names were taken. So we basically said, what are we trying to do with people? And I'm not. It wasn't my idea. I won't take credit for it. I think it might have been my father's. But reboot. We're trying. Depending on what your situation is when you come through these doors, we're trying to reboot your life, reshape your life. or help remodel your life.
I like that.
So basically the 3 R's.
Yes.
Right. So whatever you come in here, whatever your goal is, this is our job.
Okay.
To help instill this fit lifestyle into your daily life.
Okay, so now take me through someone that walks into these doors and they want to reboot their life.
First off,
Give me a couple of things that some our listeners could possibly try to do on their own.
Okay. Get in here.
Okay, I like that. It might just be as simple as that.
It is as simple as
Okay.
that. So what I've learned, there's a million, like real estate agents.
Yeah.
There's so many real estate agents out there. There's
Sure.
so many trainers out there. How do you differ yourself from others, right? Obviously, you guys have taken upon yourself to do, like we're sitting here today. This is awesome. The fact that you're reaching out and just showing, like, hey, we're reaching out to businesses and showing how they grow, showing this.
And we didn't pay you to say that, so I just want the listeners
man.
to know that. Yeah.
No.
I pay him when I work out.
Oh, well, yeah, okay, I got you. Actually, you do. Sorry, yeah, that's true. Thanks to Laura and John. Thank you.
But no, honestly, man, the same way, it's just trying to be different. And I feel like, from what I've realized, I haven't been here too long on this earth or whatever you'd like to say.
Yeah.
But from what I've realized is that everything is a vibe. When you come into a place, if you're not ready to do something, the vibe more or less will bring you to that point of readiness.
Right.
So my advice to anyone, it doesn't even say to come into my gym.
Yeah.
Go to a gym, because one, that's the hardest part.
Right.
You can't look at going to the gym more or less like, oh man, like I gotta go to bed. You gotta look at the gym like the same way you gotta look like you're going to bed every night.
Yeah.
Right? If you don't sleep, you can't fix your next day. The same way you got to look at the gym. If I don't go to the gym, my day will not be as efficient. My day will not be as organized. I will not be the best version of me because I don't have the energy, the self-confidence, the look, or whatever the case may be. Every situation is different.
And do you feel like the gym is that important? Like, why can't people just go to their basement on their treadmill? Like, why is it getting to a gym?
The gym is important because, again, whether you're with a trainer or not, the simple fact of being in a facility where everyone in there is in there for the same reason as you. At home, yeah, everyone's at home. I even gave Laura a machine. Ask her how many times. I know they've used it, but like how many times have they used it?
It's not great.
So how is our Laura as a client?
Laura and John and Laura are actually.
You can tell the truth today, and I'll yell at you for it tomorrow.
Yeah. But you know what? He could do whatever. Like you can yell at him, but he'll make sure that you just work.
Surprisingly, they don't yell. They don't yell.
Okay.
John gets a little red, almost starts panting.
Okay.
Laura may swear here and there, but just out of frustration. Honestly, though, she is one of my star girls.
And why do you say that?
She's strong as an ox.
Okay.
She might not look it.
Yeah.
Strong as an ox.
Okay. Cool.
I wasn't lying, Jazz.
Yeah.
But honestly, when I mean hard workers, they're my only clients for, I'm telling you, 5-6 years.
Yeah.
6 a.m.
Yes.
3-4 days a week. Like that's pretty. They've been consistently throughout the years. One or the other, somebody's always coming, but one or the other, they'll bounce sometimes from things.
Yeah.
And again, every day is different.
Right.
Some days, like I know John travels a lot. Laura's actually starting to travel a little bit now too.
Yeah.
The days get long. When the days get long and they start blending into each other, it's hard to make it in here. That's where I take it upon myself to read them, and I think I do a pretty good job at doing that.
Yeah.
Some days they come in here.
Days you can push us.
Right. I ain't getting nothing. Some days they come in here. Okay, watch out because you guys are getting put through the ringer right now.
For sure.
Right, and it's just amazing to see over a period of time what I'm able to do with one's body just by learning. Aside from that, again, that's all, I just have to preach to them. Hard workers.
Now, if somebody doesn't, say, for example, have a trainer, but they go to the gym, because we kind of talk that through that, coming to the gym is important because you're going to learn through kind of osmosis, you're in the environment, you're kind of immersing yourself. What are some things people can just kind of do? Like, do they have to be here 7 days a week? Like, you know, from a working out philosophy, right, or perspective.
Like if I came in and I said, I want to just be healthier than I am today.
Yeah, like I really want some listeners that maybe haven't came to the gym, or what's some things that they can kind of do, right?
My advice to them is to just be active. So come into the gym and start looking around. That's what most people do when they go to the gym.
Okay.
So look around. What do you see? What do you like? What you see? Do you not like anything?
Okay.
You like something? It's just really bringing it down to just basic analyzing, right? When you go in the gym, if there's somebody in there, like if you're a woman and you go in there and you see a woman like, hey, like she's gorgeous. I wanna look like her. So maybe watch what she's doing. It all comes down in the end to food. Laura knows this too.
I definitely want to touch on nutrition with you, buddy, for sure. Because that's something I have an issue with.
Yeah, and me being this job, that is my biggest problem as well.
Okay.
So I can train till I turn blue.
Right.
But I love to eat. I love to eat.
You and I talk about every morning. We're talking about food.
Yeah. We won't say what kind of food we're talking about.
John gets angry too because he's like, "Can you guys stop talking about food?" We just love it. So that's aside.
So somebody comes into the gym and they get an idea of what, you know, a body shape or whatever it is that they like.
Whatever motivated you to walk into those doors, or whatever is motivating you to keep you in those doors, I suggest you just hold on to it.
Okay.
Because that's literally the formula. There's no specific way to say, is it to just be healthier. The fact is that you're in there, you're there for yourself. Whether you're there for someone or not, you are there for yourself.
So if I have a very specific, like, there's a lot of women I talk to and they say, oh, like you do weights and weightlifting and you're on the machines a lot, but doesn't that make you bulky? Or I don't want to be bulky. I don't want to look muscular. What would you say to those people? Is that a myth? Is that true?
Have you tried it?
You turn it back on them. I like that. That's a great question.
That's literally my job, because I can try and manipulate it back to fit their answer, but I've learned to just hit it on the head. Have you tried it? Do you know how hard it is to make yourself look bulky?
Elaborate on that for us, though, Jamil.
Do you, like, point being, like me doing the bodybuilding.
Right.
Laura saw it. It was a lot of work. I'm training 4 or 5 hours a day. I'm like, some people can't even get up and go to work. Forget get up and go to the gym. Forget get up and go to the gym and put 20 pounds of muscle on. Right? So there's a whole... So
you're saying doing a couple bicep curls with 12-pound weight for half an hour a day is probably not going to bulk you up. And I can attest to that myself, because I remember when we started, I came from a high cardio background, right? And I was a little nervous myself. I had those same reservations. But fast forward 5 years later, we do a lot of weights. We also do a lot of cardio. We sometimes mix them together. And I can say that that's probably not necessarily the case, unless you're doing it for hours upon hours a day.
We're boxing soon, so you know.
Oh, great. Yeah. We're boxing later. Oh,
nice. Nice. So it is really a mixture. You need the cardio, you need the weights.
Yeah.
And to Laura's point and question, like just because you lift some weights, you're not going to get bulky. In fact, it's very tough to get bulky, as you say.
Like again, everyone. I can't give a general view, because me being a trainer, what I've known is everyone is different.
Yeah.
We're all the same, but we're all different in our own way. So some people genetically are capable of building muscle.
Right.
So like I can't come in here, I don't have some kind of device where I say, yeah, your genetics are going to allow you to do so and so and so.
Sure.
I wish I did, that'd be cool, but because we'd find a lot of Michael Jordans and a lot of Tom Brady's and LeBron along the way, you know what I mean? Because I'm sure there's a lot of people who never tried and could have.
Right.
Point being said too is you come in here, just get in here. Try and come in here for a month. It takes 3 weeks to break a habit. If you can come, not saying 7 days for the next 3 weeks, more or less planning your week at a week at a time, day by day, so you know at least 2-3 days I'm going to get into the gym.
So and that's what I was kind of looking for, right? I mean, would you say like at least just minimum getting there for 3 days a week, man?
I'm saying, I talk about this with Laura all the time, the bare minimum.
Okay.
I said, you guys, you want to eat, you want to live your life, you want to do this, you work hard, you get it, you want to enjoy it. The bare minimum. From what I've learned from a training aspect, if you can weight train and do cardio 3 days a week on a balanced diet, that is called maintenance, the bare minimum.
Okay.
You may.
Doing the bare minimum.
No.
I'm not even at the bare minimum.
Not even at the bare minimum.
Okay.
Not even.
I love it. I love it.
But there you go, right? So 5 years, I've been doing this for 5 years, and I'm still trying to break some of the old habits. But you know what? I come.
I'm
I
joking.
get up, I come.
You're past the bare
No,
minimum.
it's more what I get when I leave. So
Right.
there are mornings, my alarm goes off at 4:40. There are mornings I don't want to come.
Right.
Sometimes I don't.
Right.
And then sometimes I just get here.
Right.
Jamil comes in, he's like, how are we today? And I just give him a look, like, this is going to be a tough day for me.
Right.
But then I leave. Every day I leave, and I get in that car, John and I drive home, and I said, I'm so glad I went. It changes my whole day. It changes how I feel about myself. It changes how I feel about work, how I'm going to attack problems in the day. Because
Sure.
I know I just did, the hardest part of my day, to me, is in the past now. And I did it.
You ate that frog first, right? There's a great book that says eat the frog first. The hardest obstacle, just deal with it and get rid of it first thing in the
I just
morning.
think it totally changes your mentality. So whether or not I'm that much healthier for it, which I think I am, but even if I wasn't, just the mindset from leaving a gym, I think is so important.
Jamil, you said balanced diet.
Balanced diet.
Balanced diet. What is that, and why is nutrition more important than
In this is because I don't see. There's the word diet for one. You shouldn't even look at it like that. As North Americans, where are you from? I haven't even asked you. What's your
So I'm
background?
born and raised here, but
Yeah.
my parents are from India.
India.
Yeah.
So you grew up, if they're from India, you grew up, if they cooked like they did back home, that is their version of that they brought India here.
Yeah.
Right? Growing up, being born and raised in Canada, we've developed certain habits of eating this or that, just anyway, you know what I mean? We've been bred to think we're supposed to eat a certain way or eat this or that. When like somebody taught us from a young age, what do you eat for breakfast? Cereal. Whoever said you should eat breakfast? Like technically.
So there's a little bit of a brainwashing.
Yeah, and that's why I think that's number one. Why everyone has the problems with obesity, overweight, or even some people have problem gaining weight because the types of food and how it's being fed to us and how we're eating it is just not the right way. You take it back, and Lord knows this, I do this all the time. You take it back 10,000 years, how do you think they were eating?
Right. They were getting a meal a day.
They were waking up doing fasted cardio, trying to get their damn food.
It was all about hunting, yeah.
Yeah, they might not be able to eat till 12, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and they didn't know it was that time either. Yeah, right. So
that's a good point. I like that.
So, like, if you want to really basic it down, and I'm sure if we take it back and see how we looked as people back then, I bet we were in pretty damn good shape. So, what are we doing? How come back then we seem to have such a good outlook on how to eat? Because it's the basics. We're eating what the body needs. And from the word from what I've come to realize with balanced diet is trying to balance the North America version of how we're supposed to live and still be able to maintenance along the way. So that's what I tell Laura. The way I train Laura, she's not doing the bare minimum. She's going over the bare minimum because I beat their butts.
Oh, you can say that.
I know how many butts you need to beat here. You have Laura here tomorrow. I'm sure she's going to get to the gym. You better, Laura. And Jamil, I really appreciate your time. Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you so much for having me.